best, you're probably looking at 5 years. 3 years later, living in that, I was so sick of being sick. I remember being in my car like, I'm done living this life. I will never live this life again. I'm going to go back to work. And I did for 3 days, and the pandemic hit, and I go home. And I went on Instagram, and by the grace of God, I saw a video, and it said something like, how you think and how you feel creates your state of being. And if you want a new personal reality, you have to change your personality. And it just made sense to me. It really just made sense. And I'll be honest with you, I never closed my eyes to meditate, but every single day I woke up during a pandemic, I had nowhere to go. And I became another version of myself over and over and over again. And after 10 months of doing this, my dad said, I know we're playing make-believe here, but you really need to go back to the doctor. I spent almost 10 years trying to heal. And in 10 months of being a new version of myself, every single thing in my body healed. I fell in love with And I listened to that video every single day. It is how I started my day. A month later, I was in a traumatic accident to my face. And I went from being on camera to looking in the mirror and not recognizing the person I saw. My iPhone didn't recognize me, categorized me as a new person. And I went into shock. I put a hat on, and I wore that hat for 18 months. And I am telling you, I was not well. I lost my mind. I really didn't know what to do. I did not want to die, but I genuinely had no idea how to live. And one day, my dad said to me, you know, there's this yogi that put his hand through a cave. And my dad's like ex-military, so he doesn't say things like that. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? He's like, it's in the beginning of this book called Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. And I thought, that's it. I'm going to go to an event, and I'm going to learn how to mold matter, and I'm going to put my face back together. That was my intention. And so for the next 16 months, I went to event after event after event after event. I went to 10 events in a row. And I learned one of the greatest lessons, that actually I wasn't my body, that I was actually so much greater than all of that, and that I truly was a creator in my own life. That was the blessing that I learned from that experience. And the day that I got that, I vividly remember it. It was like everything that happened to me made sense. That I wasn't the body, I was the soul inside. And when I took the time to connect to that and love who I actually am and connect with God and love all of this, I took the hat off. In 30 minutes, I was in bliss. My second chance at life. And then my dad called. And all I wanted to do was tell him I was okay. I'm like, Dad. And my dad was calling to tell me that my brother and my best friend went to bed and never woke up. Third lesson. It was another pivotal moment in my life where I could let it take me down, but I knew what was there: disease, despair. Or I could do everything in my power to take the tools that I learned from Dr. Joe's work and to apply it to overcome my environment and overcome my body, overcome my mind, and to remember who I am, why I'm here, and to help anyone I can in the process. And so when I tell you that I am so unbelievably grateful for this mystical human being, for the work that he's putting into this world, for all of the times that he's given me the opportunity to save my life. And I know that I am just one of so many. So please take a look.
And for 5 years, I was in bed. I couldn't move. I couldn't even feed myself. I had a caregiver feed me. I couldn't brush my hair. They told me there's no cure. There's nothing out there. And it was a couple weeks ago, I realized, in the shed was my wheelchair and my walker. And I donated it to charity. And it was the best feeling in the world because I cut that part of my life off.
So my lung tumors, omental metastasis, so the abdominal tumors, the liver metastasis were like 95% gone, and now they're gone. And then necrosis or death of that big tumor. And he said, "You are the 1%. He said, "This is absolutely amazing."
But after this healing, I am 100% sure this works. This works because the way I'm feeling now, the strength. So I could not do this. I need someone to hold for balance. My balance is next level. See, I could stand on one leg now. See. This is the stability. See.
Wow.
And my arms. Oh.
Now I would call that a good date.
How long have you not walked?
21 years.
21 years?
Yeah.
This is your first time since 21 years.
I had cancers like eggs from brain to all organs like this, like eggs, 12, 13 centimeter according to PT CAT scan. After 6 months, every 3 months we were supposed to. 70-80% gone. So my oncologist, she looked in my eyes and she said, "What are you doing? You are a walking miracle."
Take some more steps, still feels fine. Now I don't want to see my walker in front of me, so I start pushing it in front of me instead of holding on. And the more I'm pushing it, the better my body's feeling, and the more energy I start feeling. So now I know, get rid of it. Now I'm walking. I'm walking for the first time in 2.5 years.
Couldn't hold the cup before. No problem. So, I came here unable to do that. And I'm leaving ALS behind.
And when I started here, on the first day, I was on the mirror and I saw my teeth. I thought, oh my God, I see my teeth, my lips. And the second day, I saw my nose and my hair. I was so happy. I was smiling, laughing, crying. And then I realized what color is my hair now. I'm completely brunette because my husband, he dyed my hair. And he changed the color of my hair.
I mean, I was moving. I after not even, being able to hardly walk for 2 years, I don't know where this energy came from to move out. With the walking yesterday, the same type of a thing. Second time we stopped, I was facing out to the ocean, and Joe said, put your hands on your heart, in the meditation, put your hands on your heart. And I did, and he says, well, open up. And I kind of opened my arms like this, my hands up like this, and the wind came, and it was just like aimed at my chest, and I started doing like a flipping chicken, with all this energy coming in, and it was just so amazing. I could feel all this, and I was just like, how is this even possible? Just so thankful to have that opportunity and to see that, and to see what's possible. And with that gratitude, just wanting to take this back to my people. My vets are everything. Thank you again. Kevin, let's go. Keep up this time.
It was the best day of my life. I mean, it was just looking at the report and seeing those lung tumors shrink.
It felt so relieving having my life back, my mind back.
I didn't need cane, I didn't need oxygen. The entire rest of the day, I didn't need it. I didn't need the chair. He was just pushing nobody beside me. And I didn't need it the next day either. Or the day after that, and I haven't gotten back in it since.
And I turned my right ear to the pillow, and I could hear him. Like I could hear out of my left ear for the first time.
I had to apply the knowledge that I had within me that lives inside and just apply that, and that's what helped me heal.
All of a sudden, the pain just disappeared. All the bleeding disappeared. The inside, outside, everything just disappeared.
What? You were expecting somebody else? That guy? I'm kidding. He'll be out in a second. Calm down. Keep it in the pants. My name is Jorge Perez, and I have a story for you. You see, I lost both my parents to cancer back to back. My dad in 2019 from leukemia, and my mom in 2022 from a breast cancer metastasized to her brain. And I can still remember perfectly the last time I saw my dad in the hospital bed while he was being intubated and signing papers, which was the last time I saw him alive. And I also remember, and I will never forget, spending the last moment with my mom when she took her last breath from her cancer in 2022. You know, after you lose both parents to cancer back to back, a few interesting things happen, needless to say. One good thing, people become really nice, really, really nice. And the other thing is that they kind of start treating you like you're genetically fucked. Like, seriously. And they'll give me looks like, wow, both parents cancer. What are you going to do? And I was like, I don't know. They're like, are you going to take the BRCA? Are you going to take this? I'm like, I don't know. And it's a living nightmare. Until one day, by divine intervention, or the universe, or actually a YouTube algorithm, I found out about Dr. Joe Dispenza. And what I learned from Dr. Joe is that we are not doomed by our genes, and that our genetic predispositions are like Christmas lights. You can have Christmas lights in your house, but if you don't light them, it's fine. And what lights our genetic predispositions? Being in a constant state of fight or flight stress. I have had the incredible honor and privilege to have attended 17 retreats of Dr. Joe Dispenza. Turns out my therapist's right. I'm a little compulsive and obsessive. But what I have experienced in these retreats have been nothing more than a miracle, as you've seen on that video. I've seen people go in instant remission from cancer. People that their oncologist was like, hey, there's just nothing left to do. So, oh, but I did hear about this Joe guy. And then they do the retreat. And then they do the work. And then they heal themselves. I've also seen people that hadn't walked in years from some sort of neurological disease all of a sudden take walks or move their arms. And now we're here at this incredible Mind Valley Conference created by the visionary Vishen Lakhiani. And we've had all these incredible authors and new thought leaders share their wisdom. And now we're about to have Dr. Joe Dispenza speak. I want to take a moment for all of us that are watching this live or on Zoom to truly own the moment that if you're here, millions of people would kill to be in your shoes. Yeah. And that's something not to be taken lightly or for granted, okay? Vision. That's something to really hold in our space for us and for all the people that can. So give yourself a round of applause for your amazing life. Seriously. 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 Dr. Joe Bishop, come out here.
Joe. Hi. We're in the right place. It's like Elvis just got on stage. So come, Joe. So let's stand in the center. So, listen. As I said earlier, I said one of the core principles of Mind Valley is that you don't learn from one teacher. You learn from multiple teachers. You are in the center. We bring you incredible teachers. You get to navigate and decide your own truth. And one of the teachers in the world today that I have the utmost respect for is Joe Dispenza. When you attended Joe Dispenza, I believe Joe Dispenza is the modern Jose Silva. When you attend a Joe Dispenza event, all he's doing is he's giving you the desire for becoming a better person, for healing your health. He's step by step giving you evidence, scientific evidence, physical evidence that you witness that raises your belief of what is possible. And by the end of it, you expect miracles, and therefore you receive miracles. Joe, thank you for your amazing work.
Thank you. Thank you so
much. Do your magic.
Thank you. Thank you. Are you having a good weekend? Thank you. This weekend is about you. It's an opportunity for you to retreat from your life for just 2 days and to remove the constant stimulation in your external environment that reminds you of who you think you are as a personality. It's important for us to separate ourselves from the people we know and the places we go, the things that we do at the exact same time every single day, to remind ourselves what we already know, that you are the creator of your life. And it's important for you to be exposed to information. All of life uses information to organize itself into form. Without new information, nothing new can be born. And if you were truly present this weekend and you paid attention to the information, and you learned that information, you begin to add new connections in your brain. And if you can repeat that information, if you can think about it, if you can talk about it, nerve cells that fire together. And you have to do it over and over again because it's so much easier to forget this information than to remember it. And if knowledge is power, then knowledge about yourself is self-empowerment. And you got to take that information now that you learned, and you got to repeat it. Because if learning is making new synaptic connections, then remembering is maintaining and sustaining those connections. And a Nobel Prize laureate in the year 2000 said that when people concentrate on just one concept or idea for about an hour, they double the number of connections in their brain. But if they don't repeat it, if they don't review it, if they don't think about it, those circuits prune apart within hours or days. So it's important for us to review it, to wrestle with it, to think about it. And as we begin to do that, we begin to install the neurological hardware in our brain. And I discovered that the more that people understand what they're doing and why they're doing it, the how gets easier. And they can assign meaning to the task. And when they do, they switch on their prefrontal cortex. And that's the boss of the brain, and it wants an outcome. So if you can take that philosophical, theoretical, intellectual information and do something with it, apply it, personalize it, demonstrate it, try it out. And if you can get your behaviors to match your intentions, get your actions equal to your thoughts, you get your mind and body working together, you have a new experience. Now, experience enriches the circuitry in the brain. And as jungles of neurons begin to organize into networks, from the moment those neurons string into place, another part of the brain makes a chemical. And that chemical is called a feeling or an emotion. And the end product of the experience is the emotion. And the moment you feel unlimited, the moment you feel worthy, the moment you feel abundant, now you are teaching your body chemically to understand what your mind has intellectually understood. So we can say knowledge is for the mind and experience is for the body, and you're embodying the truth of that information. The information is no longer just in the brain. The information is in the body. And you are chemically instructing the body to understand what the mind has intellectually understood. And that chemistry from that experience is selecting and instructing new genes, and you're changing your genetic destiny. But it's not enough to do it once. You got to be able to repeat that experience at will. You got to be able to do it over and over again. If you can continue to repeat that same experience over and over again, you're going to neurochemically condition your mind and body to begin to work as one. When you've done it so many times that the body now knows how to do it better than the conscious mind, it's innate in you. It's easy, it's familiar, it's automatic. You know how you do it, but you don't know how you know how you do it. Come on, are you with me? Yes. You've become that knowledge. You're in a new state of being. You've mastered that philosophy. So our job then, from this weekend, is to go from philosopher to initiate to master. From knowledge to experience to wisdom, from mind to body to soul, from thinking to doing to being, to learning with your heads, applying it with your hands, and knowing it by heart. To believe, behave, become. And you have all the biological and neurological machinery to do this. And I can stand up here today and tell you that common people around the world are doing the uncommon. They look just like you. So then how many people in this room right now believe in the idea that the way you think has something to do with your life? I'm curious. Let me see. You believe that, yes? All right. How many of you actually woke up this morning and was defined by that vision of the future and you took time to create it? I'm in the presence of greatness. But if you didn't do it, you didn't make time for yourself to create, to remember that vision of the future, that means you don't believe it's possible. If you knew it was the truth, you'd never miss a day. You would never miss a day in creating the life that you want. And you would never let any thought slip by your awareness unnoticed or unchecked by you. And if we think 60 to 70,000 thoughts in one day, and 90% of the thoughts are the same thoughts as the day before, you just told me that you believe that your thoughts have something to do with your life. Yes. Get you? So if you're thinking the same thoughts 90% of the time, your life should stay the same. Yes. Come on, are you with me? Because the same thoughts lead to the same choices. Same choices lead to the same behaviors. The same behaviors create the same experiences. The same experience produce the same feelings and emotions. Those same feelings and emotions inspire the very same thoughts in your biology, your neurocircuitry, your neurochemistry, your hormones, your gene expressions stay the same because you're staying the same. And there's a principle in neuroscience that says that nerve cells that fire together keep thinking the same thoughts over and over again, good or bad. Keep thinking those thoughts over and over again, you create a belief. A belief is just a thought you keep thinking over and over again until you hardwire it in your brain. Come on, you with me? Yes. And from our beliefs, we create our perceptions. We don't see things how they are, we see things how we are. Yes. And they become automatic, they become unconscious. And you behave the same way, you make the same choices, you do the same things, you create the same experiences that stamp the same networks of neurons into the same patterns, all for the familiar feeling called you. I don't know, let's be conservative. For 5 years. Would you agree then that by the time we're in the middle of our life, our personality, how we think, how we act, and how we feel becomes programmed subconsciously. That's 95% of who we are by the time we're in the middle of our life, or a set of unconscious programs. Come on, are you with me? Yes. So then, how you think, how you act, and how you feel is called your personality. And your personality creates your personal reality. That's it. That's it. So the present personality who's sitting here today called you has created the present personal reality called your life. Not your ex, not your mother. You create that life. Yes? All right, so if your personality creates your personal reality, then it makes sense then if you wanted to change your personal reality, change your life, that means you'd have to change your personality. That means you would have to change. Come on, are you with me? Because nothing changes in your life until you change. Yes or no? Yes. So it usually takes crisis, it takes disease, it takes diagnosis, it takes loss, betrayal, to where nothing's making that feeling go away any longer. And you could actually begin to observe your own thoughts. Because you don't feel like yourself, you can see yourself through the eyes of someone else. It's called metacognition in neuroscience. You could pay attention to how you act and your habits and behaviors. You could look at the emotions that defined you, and you begin to objectify your subjective self. And that's the first step to change. Because most people try to create a new personal reality as the same personality. It doesn't work. You literally have to become somebody else. Come on, you with me still? So then, when I started studying all these people healing from all these different health conditions, we have thousands of those. I learned that they were not doing their inner work, like meditation, to heal. They were doing the work to change. And when they changed, they began to realize they would heal. Come on, are you with me still? Yes. So then, theoretically then, if you learn new information like you did this weekend and you log that information in your brain, that information would be in your brain for you to actually choose something new and do something differently. Yes? To create a new experience. To do what? Feel differently, feel a different emotion. And we discovered that when people just retreat from their lives for 7 days, they immerse themselves in the process of information and transformation. At the end of those 7 days, the majority of people have a completely different biology. Think differently, act differently, feel differently, new personality. New personality, new personal reality. Come on, are you with me? Yes. So then you're going to return back into your life, and the spirit of this event has to be carried with you. Because if you return back to the same attitudes, the same behaviors, the same habits, the same feelings and emotions, then you're back to the old personality, and it's a seamless default. And the first step to change is overcoming. Come on, are you with me? Yes. So then, the hardest part about change is not making the same choice as you did the day before. And the moment you decide to make a different choice, get ready. Because it's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel unfamiliar. There's going to be some uncertainty. There's going to be some unpredictability. And the moment the person steps from the known into the unknown, the body, which has become the mind emotionally of that person, begins to tell the brain, you're not worth it, you're not good enough, it's somebody else's fault, nobody loves you. Body's trying to get the mind to return back to familiar territory. But if you can go from the old self to the new self, you have to cross a river. And that is the neurological, the biological, the chemical, the hormonal death of the old self. Most people would rather get on their cell phone and be distracted by something than to take a look at that feeling. So then, people who truly heal and truly change, they come up against their, I can't, it's too hard, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll never change, nobody loves me. They come up against those thoughts. Now check this out. And they do it anyway. Did you hear me? Yes. And if you wanted to be a happy person, you would have to catch yourself complaining and blaming and making excuses, talking trash about somebody else, judging somebody else, that's not going to make you happy. That's going to make you what? Unhappy. Yes or no? And listen, the stronger the emotions we feel from some event in our lives, the more altered we are inside of us, that disturbance in chemical continuity, the alarm system switches on and the brain narrows the focus, puts all of its attention on the outer environment and takes a snapshot. That's called a long-term memory. Every time the person remembers that event, they're producing the same chemistry in their brain and body as if the event was occurring. And the body is so objective as the unconscious mind that it does not know the difference between the real life experience that's creating that emotion and the emotion that person is fabricating by thought alone. The body's reliving the event 50 to 100 times a day. It only takes a thought and a feeling, an image and an emotion, a stimulus and response, and you can condition the body to become the mind of that emotion. Now the body's literally living in the past. Come on, are you with me still? And that becomes the familiar feeling. You can say to that person, why are you so bitter? Why are you so angry? Why are you suffering so much? They'll say, I am this way because of some event that happened to me 10 years ago. And what they're really saying is, I had an event that changed me and I have not been able to change since. Are you with me still? And then they do what? They tell a really good story. But the latest research on neuroscience says that 50% of that story isn't even the truth. They make stuff up. That means they're reliving a miserable life they never even had. Just to reaffirm the addiction to that emotion. So then the person who truly changes says, oh my God, if I'm living by this emotion and these feelings are constant in my body, and my body doesn't know the difference between the real life experience that produces that emotion and the emotion that I'm feeling by thought alone, my body's living in the past, the familiar past. And if the environment signals the gene, according to epigenetics, and it does, and the end product of an experience in an environment is an emotion, as long as I feel this emotion, I'm signaling the same genes every single day, and genes make proteins. And proteins are responsible for the structure and function of my body, and the expression of proteins is the expression of life. This feeling is not loving to me. Big moment, because that's venturing into the unknown, and the body, which has been conditioned into the past, argues against our intentions. Crossing that river of change, then, the person says, what do I want to believe? And with my intention and with my attention, if nerve cells that fire together, what is the new belief that I want to install in my brain that I want to keep thinking over and over again? Maybe I can heal even what the doctor said. Maybe I can be wealthy even what my father told me. Yes. Are you with me still? Yes. Try this one out, okay? The consciousness of any new reality, the awareness of any new possibility, the image of a future fixed in the mind and held in the heart of anything, of any condition, any circumstance, is the actual thing itself. Did you get that? Some of you didn't get that. You know why? Because you don't have it wired in your brain. It goes against what you believe. Let me say it again. The moment you become conscious of any reality, any dream that you have, the moment you become aware of any new possibility you want to experience, the moment you have an image in your mind of a future event held in the mind and held in the heart or felt in the heart of anything, of any circumstance, of any condition, is the thing in itself, the actual thing. Now that would be a thought you'd have to keep thinking over and over again, over and over again, over and over again, yes or no? Yes. And if you kept thinking it over and over again, you start to do what? Believe it, because belief is just a thought you keep thinking over and over again. Yes or no? Yes. All right, so now I'm wiring that in my brain. I got that in there, okay. If I want to be happy, and I really do, then I'm not going to wait for somebody to make me happy. I'm going to stop being unhappy. Yes or no? All right, so what are the things that you do, Juanito, that makes you so unhappy? I don't know. Let me take a look at myself. Let me observe myself during the day. Oh, I'm complaining. I'm gossiping. I can't behave that way. I have to break that habit. I got to become so conscious of my unconscious thoughts that I don't go unconscious to them the whole entire day. I'd become so aware of how I speak, how I act, that I won't default and return back to that habit. Yes or no? And then you got to look at those emotions that keep us anchored to the past and decide, does this emotion belong in my future? And if it doesn't, then just leave it. You'll never hear me say, go back and relive the past. I'll tell you to overcome the emotion, because the memory without the emotional charge is called wisdom. That's the name of the game here. And the stronger the emotion that you're addicted to, the stronger the emotion that you feel to some person or circumstance in your life, the more you pay attention to them. And where you place your attention is where you place your... So you're giving your power away to that person. You're giving your force of life. They're consuming all of your attention and energy. Lower the volume to that emotion, break the addiction, go past, I can't, go past, it's too hard, go past you looking for your cell phone, go past complaining, go past blaming, go past those emotions, be curious what's on the other side. That's the unknown. And we discovered when we do the research, if you push people past that point where they normally stop and they keep going, they know what to do, that's when the magic happens, because they're in the unknown. Are you with me? Yeah. So the person who's healing from a health condition, they tell me this all the time. I'm doing the work. I'm sleeping better at night. I have less pain. I have more energy. I can eat more than 20 foods. But my values are still the same. My blood values are still the same. The scans are saying the same thing. They said, and then I realized 1 hour of a good meditation where I get up believing in myself and believing in my future, and then the other 16 hours of the day, I'm behaving and acting this way. I got to get so good at doing this with my eyes closed, I got to be able to do it with my eyes open. So then the person says, how am I going to be with my ex? How am I going to be with my coworker? How am I going to be with my best friend when they complain all the time? I don't want to complain any longer. Let me start thinking about how I'm going to be in my next experience. And they begin to rehearse in their mind, what would love do? What would greatness look like? What would abundance feel like? And they begin to put themselves in scenarios in their mind. And when you're truly present, the brain does not know the difference between the real life experience and what you're imagining. Now, the brain is a record of the past. It's an artifact of everything you learned and experienced to this moment. It's a reflection of everything that you know in your outer world. But when that person begins to rehearse, how am I going to be with my ex or my coworker? When they're truly present, the brain begins to experience it as if it was real. And experience does what? Creates connections in the brain. And they begin to install the neurological hardware in place to actually use that circuitry when they open their eyes. Come on, are you with me? And if you keep rehearsing it, you keep firing and wiring, you keep installing that hardware, you have the hardware in place to use in that experience. Yes or no? Yes. And then you would say, okay, listen, I've been living in lack for the last 25 years. I'm going to try something else out here because nothing I've been doing has been working. Okay. I'm going to feel the emotion of what the experience would be like before it happens. I'm going to feel the emotion. I'm going to teach my body emotionally what that future feels like before it occurs. What would gratitude feel like? What would love for life feel like? What would joy for existence feel like? What would be grateful to be alive? What would it feel like to be unlimited? I'm going to teach my body to feel this way, because if I feel the emotion in my future, I'll no longer be looking for it. You only look for it when you feel separate from it. We can't attract anything in our lives that we feel separate from. Come on, are you with me? So then now, game's not over, the game's just starting. Because you got to get up and maintain that modified state of being your entire day. And if you say to me, oh, no, it was that person or that circumstance or that meeting that made me feel this way, I say, oh, no. You're back to the unconscious program of being a victim to your life. That when we allow someone or something to control the way we feel and think, and we say, what's wrong with you? It's that person or that thing that's making me feel and think this way. Anything that controls us, we're victims to. Yes or no? Yes. And I'm thinking equal and feeling equal to the memory I have of that person or circumstance. Come on, are you with me? Yes. So then, how many times do we have to forget? Until we stop forgetting and start remembering. That's called the moment of change. Because I hope now that you understand that when you turn back into your life, you learned all these wonderful things from all these wonderful people, and whatever you want to use to apply in your life, just make the time to do it. Because many of you will return back to your life and you will never do it. You know why? Because you don't believe it's the truth. If you knew it was the truth, you would choose yourself every single day. And your belief in yourself must be earned. Nobody does that for you. So then the person who's truly healing, then, they're going to maintain that modified state of mind and body. They're going to feel the emotions of their future. And we discovered that when people do that for 7 days, they started upregulating thousands of metabolites and thousands of genes in their body to look like they're living in a whole new environment, into a whole new life. And they're in a ballroom. There's nothing very stimulating in a ballroom. And our data says that you're greater than you think, more powerful than you know, more unlimited than you can ever dream. If we take a group of people, check this out, LA, from all over the world, 77 different countries around the world, they have their own individual microbiome, variation about 30%. At the end of 7 days, completely different microbiome without changing their diet, without stopping drinking alcohol, without avoiding sugar, without any probiotics. All kinds of species of microorganisms that are probiotic are upregulated in a body that's growing and flourishing. Come on. You know why that is? Because that person is not the same person. If they were the same person, they'd have the same microbiome. They're a different person, different microbiome. Yes or no? Yes. Everybody comes from all over the world. Everybody has their own genotype, own individual gene expression. Genes make proteins. We start measuring the collective. 80% of the population, after 7 days, is expressing the same genes and making the same proteins. What does that mean? The flock, the herd, the tribe, there's an emergent consciousness that's being reflected in their biology in 7 days. You could change in 7 days. That's what our data shows. You can make your brain work better. You can make your heart work better. You can upregulate thousands of genes. You could change your microbiome. You can change your voice. You can change your face. There's all things that we've discovered. I'm not saying that because of Caitlin, but we actually do facial analysis. We're looking to see when a person truly transforms, if their face changes. The answer is yes. There's a language for transformation. We know that there's a language. We've discovered the language. We know the language when a person has a transcendental moment, what happens to them, how they describe it, what happens, the language of a person who heals. We use that language because language is culture. And there's a language to transformation. So you're going to return back to your life. And some of you will do absolutely nothing. You'll stay in that philosophical, theoretical, analytical realm. Some of you will get busy applying it because you know what? You already know how to do this. You already know how to do this. Every single person in this room has overcome themselves and done something great. Yes or no? Yes. What did you do? What did you do? You know what you did? You asked a really simple question. What would it be like if I was wealthy? What would it be like if I was healthy? What would it be like if they have it? Why can't I have it? You asked a frontal lobe question, and the symphony leader comes on board and looks out over the entire landscape of the brain and says, okay, Juanito, what do you got stored in here? You got a little knowledge over here. You got a little bit of experience over here. Let me call up the different networks of neurons that could answer this question. As it calls up all these associative neurological networks, the brain begins to fire in a new sequence, a new pattern, a new combination. Whenever you make your brain work differently, you're changing your mind. Mind is the brain in action. So they begin to imagine a whole new future. Come on, are you with me? Yeah. They're having a vision of a possibility, and the person who's fully in the present moment, the thought of that experience begins to produce the feeling of having it. Because the end product of the experience is called an emotion. The person's feeling the emotion ahead of the experience. Come on, are you with me still? And the stronger the emotion you feel, the more you remember your future. And you're giving your body a taste of the future emotionally, and you're literally aligning to a new destiny. Come on, are you with me still? Yeah. When you return back into your life, what that vision of your future is, because you know what you did when you had that vision of the future? You felt it, and no person, no circumstance, no condition in your life would move you from that future. And it's so much easier to forget it than to remember it, and you made time to remember it. And you did something really smart. You're so inspired by that future, and you felt it, and you believed it. You started to write down all the new choices you had to make. You started reviewing all the things you had to do. It wasn't a have to, it was a want to. You started thinking about those goals, those experiences, and then you started thinking about how it would feel to feel the emotions when those goals arrived. And you got really clear on that. And you got your behaviors to match your intentions, you got your actions equal to your thoughts, you got mind and body working together, and you're noticing that you're stepping towards your future. And then you did something really smart. You were like, I got to know thyself. I got to write down, I'll do it tomorrow. That's a program. I'll do it later. That's a program. I'm too tired. That's a program. I don't feel good. That's a program. I got to get very clear on those thoughts. I'm not going to accept, believe, and surrender to that thought without deciding whether I'm going to let it slip by my awareness unchecked. You wrote down all of the choices you had to stop making, the things you had to stop doing, maybe scrolling, I don't know. All the experiences you'd have to stay away from with certain people. You may just want to avoid being that same experience with all the people and the conditions in your life. You'd have to become really clear about the emotions that would cause you to no longer see that vision of the future, because that emotion, you would see the vision of the past, and you'd believe in that past instead of your future. You can't default, but if you fall from grace, you can't say I failed. That's a program. I just got to change. Come on, are you with me still? Yes. So you got to return back into your life, and you got to make a choice then. Since you already know how to do this, you got to choose yourself. You got to show up for yourself. Those people who heal themselves from all kinds of health conditions, they're my heroes. They're my heroes. They're the embodiment of truth. They're the living example of truth. And many of them came up against themselves. They said, God, I really believe in the philosophy of all this. I've seen the testimonials. I just didn't believe it could work for me. Ooh. That means you got to show up every day for yourself. And some people do the work, and they get finished with the inner work, their meditation, they believe more in their future than when they started. And other people do the work, and they believe less in their future because they never overcame themselves. And that becomes a habit. And that's when people give up on themselves. So you're going to return back into your life with all this knowledge and all this information. And you already know how to do this. Just set your mind and your heart towards that future. And we discovered that you only need two things. Two things really to make this all work. You need a clear intention. That's a function of the brain. It's a function of the mind. And you got a clean house in there. It may look nice on the outside, but you got a clean house in there. And you got to get that brain functioning in a more orderly, coherent way. And we discover that when people get their brain more organized and more coherent, the brain serves as a really important tool to imagine a vision. But it's got to be combined with an elevated emotion. That you have to move energy into your heart, and you got to fall in love with your future. You got to bond with your future. It's a different consciousness. You got to feel so whole that it feels like your future has already happened. Get ready. Get ready, because that's when the synchronicities, that's when the coincidences, that's when the serendipities begin to appear in your life. Not the parking space and not the roommate from college, none of the small potatoes. I'm talking about the real life big event where you're like, I promised you in that moment, The moment it lands in your lap in a way that you least expect, why? Why does it have to be in a way that we least expect? Because if you can expect it, it's nothing new. It's got to rock your world. It's got to catch you off guard. It's got to surprise you. The brain learns by mistakes and surprises. What would you like a few of? The surprise of the event tells you what? Fuck, I created this thing. What? And that's the moment you start believing that you're the creator of your life instead of the victim of your life. And there isn't a person in this room that's so special to be excluded from that. That you choose you. No one's going to choose you. You choose you. Yes? So then, when the event occurs in your life and the synchronicity occurs and the surprise, what kind of feeling or emotion are you going to feel? Little joy? Little gratitude? Little freedom? Little open-mindedness? What do you think you should do with that energy? Create again. That's the energy of creation right there. You should say, oh my God, did I really do that? Is it really coming to me and I don't have to go get it any longer? Oh my God, is there a vibrational match between my brain and heart and coherence with some possibility? And I could draw experiences to me? Maybe I should do it again tomorrow. Whatever I did, I'm going to do it again. Come on, and that would mean then it's no longer about abundance. It's about opportunities. It's who you become. The people that have been bankrupt and lost everything, that are living wonderful lives, they just went after it again and recreated abundance again. There are people who have had mystical experiences that are transcendent of language, and we have the opportunity to see their brains when they do it. It's an amazing arousal in the brain. The brain is awakening. It's a brainstorm. So then a coherent brain is a clear intention. An elevated emotion is a coherent heart. You combine those two things, and you have an electrical charge from the brain, you have a magnetic charge from the heart, and now you have a little Wi-Fi signal. And when there's a vibrational match between your energy and some possibility in that field, remember, it is the actual event in itself. So then if you can maintain that modified state of mind and body your entire day, then you would have to agree with me, if you did that well, something unusual should happen in your life. Yes or no? The synchronicities should begin to appear in your life, but if you're looking for them, then you're separate from it. You can't say to me, hey, Dr. Joe, how come I'm not living in Mallorca with my 2 dogs and my new lover? I'm going to say to you, because the person who's living in Mallorca looks nothing like you. And if you did it for 5 days and nothing happens, what does that mean? You're not that good. That's all, you're not that good. Just keep going. And how do you get better at anything? Make time for yourself. You got to invest in yourself, and when you invest in yourself, you invest in your future. Now, the brain is a record of the past. I said it's an artifact of everything you learned and experienced. If you're waking up every morning and you're thinking about your problems, those problems are memories etched in the brain that are connected to certain people, certain circumstances, certain conditions in your life. The moment you're remembering a problem, are you thinking the future, are you thinking the past? Say it. And if you believe that your thoughts have something to do with your destiny, if you're thinking the past, you should create more of your what? More of the same. Yes or no? Yes. And because every single one of those problems has an emotion associated. The moment you feel unworthy, the moment you feel unhappy, the moment you feel sad, the moment you feel guilty, the moment you suffer, now your body's in the past. Because thoughts are the language of the brain and feelings are the language of the body. And how you think and how you feel creates your state of being. And if you can't think greater than how you feel, or feelings have become the means of thinking, you're thinking in the past, don't expect your life to change. And that is the familiar past. And then if you wake up every morning and you run through that same routine, you get up and you go to the bathroom, then you go to the kitchen, then you make a coffee, then you go back, you take a shower, and then you get dressed, then you go drive to work, you do the same thing, see the same people, go to the same places, buy the same food, sit in the same chair, go put on your potions and lotions and peptides and drink your water and go to bed, and you wake up in the morning and do it again. Would you agree that if you keep doing that over and over again, it's going to become a habit? And the body's now on autopilot. Now it's dragging us into a predictable future based on what we did in the past. We lose our free will to a set of programs. And that predictable future is the known, because if you can predict it, it's known. Yes or no? Yes. So then, to change then, is to be greater than your body. To be greater than the body is the mind. To change then is to be greater than the habit that's been programmed into that predictable future. And to change is to find the sweet spot of that generous present moment. That's called the unknown. And we are biologically wired to fear the unknown. And yet, when you keep laboring for the present moment, many people, they do their meditation, they sit down, they do their inner work, and all of a sudden their mind starts going to someone else or something else, and they start feeling frustrated or impatient, and they start thinking about the things they got to do, and they want to get up and go, and they give up on themselves. That becomes a habit. But if they sit the body down, they notice it's getting frustrated, getting impatient. Instead of giving up and saying, I can't do this, they settle the body down, they lower the volume to that emotion, and bring the body back into the present moment. That's a victory. That's telling the body it's no longer the mind, that you're the mind. And then all of a sudden the body wants to get up, wants to check its cell phone, wants to go to the meeting, wants to go, I got somewhere to go. And you're watching your body do that, and you go, come here. And you bring your body back into the present moment. Now you're executing a will that's greater than the program, and that's a victory. We discovered that if you keep doing Taming the Animal, you keep doing it over and over again, people have enough time to do it. Sooner or later, the body surrenders to a new mind. And there's a liberation of energy, and energy moves right into the heart. And the moment it moves into the heart, we've measured this too many times, it goes right to the brain. And the heart is the creative center, and it tells the brain to get creative. And like taking a big sheet and going like this, the heart sends a wave of energy to the brain goes into beautiful alpha patterns. It starts to imagine, starts to dream, and the brain starts seeing pictures and images. And the more the person can relax into their heart, this is what we discovered, the more they can relax into the heart, the more energy goes to the brain. And if they do it really well, the brain starts building waves on waves on waves, and the brain moves into this alert super gamma state. The person is relaxed and awake. Are you with me? Yes. So then if you wake up in the morning then, and you're not being defined by a vision of the future, every person, everything, every place, every circumstance in your life has a neurological network associated with it. Come on. You have a neurological network for your partner, yes or no? Yes. Why do you have a neurological network for everything in your life? Because you've experienced it. Yes or no? Yes. If you've experienced it, you have an emotion associated with that person or that circumstance. Yes or no? Yes. So then if you're not being defined by a vision of the future, it makes sense then if you see the same people and you go to the same places and you do the exact same thing every single day, now it's no longer that your personality is creating your personal reality. Your personal reality is creating your personality. Your environment is controlling how you're thinking, acting, and feeling. Yes or no? To change then is to think, act, and feel in the same environment. So the change is to be greater than your environment. Are you with me still? So then you can't start your day feeling really abundant, and at the end of the day, feeling really miserable. Because somewhere along the line, you defaulted, yes or no? Now here's the beauty. You're gonna get another day tomorrow. One day, one lifetime. Who do I no longer wanna be? Who do I wanna be? It's unlearning, it's relearning. It's breaking the habit of the old self, it's reinventing a new self. It's pruning synaptic connections, it's sprouting new connections. It's unfiring and unwiring, it's refiring and rewiring. It's deprogramming, it's reprogramming. It's losing your mind and creating a new one. It's unmemorizing emotions that are stored in the body and reconditioning the body to a new mind and to a new emotion. It's overcoming and becoming. So those people who healed from all kinds of health conditions, do you think there were days where they've had a little doubt? Yes. Guess what? They did it anyway. They did a meditation anyway. Do you think there were days where they had fear because their doctor told them that they were going to die and they were stupid?
Yes.
They could have surrendered to fear that day and never did their meditation, but guess what? They did it anyway, and they overcame their fear a little bit more and surrendered to love. I think there were days where they had a little pain and they didn't feel like doing their meditation because they didn't feel good. Yes. Guess what? They did it anyway, and they overcame their body that day. You think there were days where they could have said, listen, I'm too busy, I got too much things to do, I don't have enough time. Guess what? They made the time. And it was the overcoming and the overcoming and the overcoming that was the becoming process. It's not just about thinking positively. It's about becoming. The person who wants to become abundant must become abundant. They must think like an abundant person. They must act like an abundant person, and they must feel like an abundant person. If they do that over and over again, that would be a new personality. A new personality creates a new personal reality. Yes or no? Yes. And there should be no person, no circumstance, no condition in your life that you should be afraid to master. That means then you're going to meet adversity. You want to be courageous? You want to be courageous? Get ready. The only way that the universe is going to baptize you into that is you're going to have circumstances where you demonstrate courage. Yes or no? Yes. No one's going to do that for you. You want to be patient? Get ready. The universe is going to baptize you, initiate you with all kinds of conditions for you to demonstrate patience. No one's going to do that for you. This is the plane of demonstration. You have to demonstrate it. So then if we're waiting for something in our life, something out there to change, to take away the lack or separation of not having something, we're fooled into the Newtonian model of reality, of cause and effect. People live their whole life waiting for their life to change, take away that feeling or emotion. This work is about feeling the emotion ahead of the actual experience, literally until the point where you begin to believe that it actually occurs and people wake up in a different life. There's no person in this room that's not a creator. And all you need to do is balance that heart and brain, be greater than your body, to be greater than your environment, to be greater than time. Take time every single day to study it, to review it, to remember what and why you're doing. The more you understand the what and the why, the how gets easier. And when your meditations lose their luster, or you lose sight of your vision or your passion for that future, it's just because you're feeling an emotion of the past. And we can't wait for anybody to change that for us. You got to make the time to change it. And so then, there is a future you that already exists. That's more loving, that's more kind, that's more mystical, it's more creative, it's more in love with life, more grateful, and it's you. It's you. New personality, new personal reality. So many people that I talk to that have healed or changed their life, they say to me, no. I'm not that person any longer. The disease lives in that person. The bankruptcy lives in that person. The problem lives in that person. I'm literally somebody else. They've become somebody else. Thank you so much for the opportunity to contribute to your life.